If you work in AI, robotics, or advanced manufacturing and are considering your U.S. immigration options, you're in a field that has been publicly identified as critical to U.S. national interests. Supply chains, defense capability, technological leadership, these areas are extremely important to the future of the United States. So here's the question. If you work in one of these fields, are you a strong candidate for obtaining a green card through the EB-2 National Interest Waiver without the need for an employer sponsor? The short answer is yes, but that's where most people go wrong. Being in a critical field gives you an edge. It doesn't build your case for you. Stay with me and I'll show you the difference. I'm attorney Carlos Colombo. I'm the founding partner at Colombo & Hurd. For over 2 decades, our firm has worked with thousands of highly skilled professionals like you across the EB-2 NIW, EB-1A, and other pathways. And I spend a lot of time looking at what actually gets approved in this environment. The reason I'm making this video is straightforward. Your field has a distinct advantage right now. Everyone's talking about AI. But that advantage only matters if the case is built correctly. An EB-2 NIW petition has to answer a few core questions. The first is whether your proposed endeavor, the work you're planning to do in the U.S., has substantial merit and national importance. The second is whether you're well positioned to advance that work based on your background and your experience. And finally, you must demonstrate that waiving the job offer requirement makes sense for the United States. In most fields, the first question, substantial merit and national importance, is where the government is most aggressive. You're building an argument from scratch that your work actually matters to the country. Here's what's different in your field. The government has already said that it cares about AI-enabled manufacturing, robotics, domestic production capacity. These are documented national priorities. But here's the critical part. That doesn't mean that you automatically qualify. It's not about the field, it's about your proposed endeavor. The specific work you're planning to do that has to be defined clearly and how it connects to those priorities. If it were just a field, everyone here would get approved in these fields. They don't. What we're seeing is in successful cases, it is clearly articulated proposed endeavor, what you're actually going to work on, what problem it solves, why that problem matters in the U.S. context right now. When that's built correctly, officers see how your work aligns with what the government says it needs. That's where the advantage of your field actually becomes a strength in the petition. The proposed endeavor, your background, and how they connect, that's where the case lives. You have to show that your specific skills, your track record, the problems you're actually solving, these position you to advance this particular work in the U.S. Not in the abstract, but concretely. That evidence has to be organized around what USCIS immigration actually evaluates. What matters most is how that evidence is presented, how it all points to the same conclusion. That's the work that we do. That's also where representation from counsel makes a real difference. We want to authentically bring out the strongest version of what you've already accomplished, organized in a way that shows immigration exactly what they're evaluating. The third question follows logically from there. Why would it serve in the United States to waive the normal job requirement offer? When the first two pieces are solid, that usually answers itself, but it needs to be stated directly. Here's what's different in the current environment. The surge of EB-2 NIW applications over the last few years created a backlog, and USCIS responded by being more careful about the standard. The result is that the weak cases get worse outcomes and strong cases get better ones. The gap is wider than it's ever been. What's succeeding are cases built with strategy and care, cases where the proposed endeavor is specifically defined, not generic, cases where the evidence is organized around the legal standard, or cases where someone's background is connected to a specific area of need, not just the praise of the work or a description of what their resume is, but a real legal argument. What's struggling in 2026 is the templates approach. Boilerplate language, proposed endeavors so generic they could apply to anyone in your field. USCIS has adjudicated enough of these to recognize the pattern. So if you're in AI, robotics, or advanced manufacturing, and you've been thinking that filling out your green card application, you have a genuine advantage. The national importance piece is clear, but that's the starting point, not the finish line. The question is whether the rest of your case, your specific background, your achievements, your positioning is built to match the strength of the field. That's where strategy and representation matters. Many professionals in your space have no idea whether they have a strong case because they've never walked through their background with someone who actually does this kind of work. That's what our team does. We're not interested in filling cases for the sake of filing and filing them. We're looking at whether there's a real foundation, and if there is, we build the strongest possible argument around it. If you want to know where you stand, the first step is a professional evaluation. Our team at Colombo and Hurd offers a free review. No commitment, just a real conversation about your background and whether the EB-2 NIW or an EB-1A makes sense for you in 2026. If that's something you're interested, click at the link below and fill our questionnaire to get started. Thanks for listening.